All right. Congressman Jim Jordan has denied claims that he ignored decades-old allegations of sexual abuse made by members of the Ohio State University wrestling team against their team doctor. Jordan told Politico on Tuesday, quote, "It's not true. I never knew about any type of abuse. If I did, I would have done something about it. And look, if there are people who were abused, then that's terrible. And we want justice to happen." Three former wrestlers told NBC News that it was common knowledge that the team's doctor, Richard Strauss, regularly showered with students and inappropriately touched them during appointments, and said it would have been impossible for Jordan to be unaware of the situation. One wrestler said he talked to Jordan directly about the abuse. Ohio State University announced in April that it was investigating the claims. The Republican leader of the House Freedom Caucus was the assistant wrestling coach at the university from 1986 to 1994. Jordan has repeatedly said he knew nothing about the allegations until the former students went public this year.
But Mike Allen, you look at all of the comments from former wrestlers, former close friends and associates of Jim Jordan. They said that his locker was right next to the doctor's, that he had said that if the doctor tried anything on him, he would take care of him. It seems that everybody that was around Jim Jordan at the time said he knew, he had to know all of this was going on. And in fact, he'd said some things suggesting that he did know it was going on.
Yeah, you talk about being on the wrong side of history. What we're seeing is that again and again, these incidents that were put aside are now coming back. We're seeing people losing jobs that they've been offered because of their past involvement with some of these scandals. And what we see is that so many young athletes over the years clearly were victimized in this way, and only now are some of them getting some kind of justice or vindication.
Yep. And Mike, before you go, tell us about Axios' report this morning on Trump's blind spot. I mean,
just one?
Narrow it. We'll narrow it down to the one you're reporting on. What's the one that you're reporting on this morning?
Yeah, well, we talked to Bush 43 alumni who were there when Speaker Pelosi took the gavel, when House Democrats won their election. And they're saying that this White House has no idea what is about to come if Democrats get the House. You suddenly have Democrats with subpoena power who can call you up to testify constantly. They can get in your email. They can get in your budgets. They can get into your schedules. And the Bush White House saw this coming. Of course, 2006 was a lot of unhappiness about the Iraq War. They knew the Democrats probably would take the House. So they formed what they called an Oh Shucks group. And of course, they didn't call it Shucks, OSG. And for almost a year, this group met in the Chief of Staff, Josh Bolten's office, to get ready for what was coming with Democrats. Now, Joe and Mika, I'm glad you're sitting down, because you're going to be shocked by this, but the Trump White House doesn't have an OSG. The Trump White House is not preparing for what could come with House Democrats. What one aide said to me is, we can't even prepare for what's right in front of us, let alone prepare for something that might come in 6 months.
Yeah, you know, everybody that continues to talk to him says the same thing. They are just shocked by how isolated he is and how anybody that, well, actually, I was going to say anybody that delivers bad news is immediately pushed out, but nobody actually is able to deliver bad news. He lives in his own bubble. He lives in his own world. And you do not speak truth to power with this president, because he'll fire you or he'll push you aside like his chief of staff.
Exactly. Where I think there's some reporting that he thinks the president could be his own chief of staff and not replace Kelly when he leaves.
Well, that's a good way to make bad things worse.
Okay, Mike Allen, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you all.
Still ahead on Morning Joe, the New York Times calls it a, quote, medley of misstatements, a series of presidential tweets, all apparently inspired by Fox News, were either exaggerated, unsubstantiated, or just plain false. It's hard to believe, but the president's misinformation campaign is actually getting worse. Plus, we'll go live to Thailand, where officials are trying to come up with a plan to rescue a boys' soccer team from a flooded cave. They're now facing a new threat. We'll have the latest on that. But first,
Thanks for checking out MSNBC on YouTube, and make sure you subscribe to stay up to date on the day's biggest stories. And you can click on any of the videos around us to watch more from Morning Joe and MSNBC. Thanks so much for watching.